Wow, that's almost too dynamic. What's going on, everybody? It's Charles. In this video, we are going to be installing dynamic turn signals in our side view mirrors. And because the glass is coming off, I'm going to throw in some aspherical mirrors as well. These dynamic turn signals are plug and play, so no coding or scan tool or anything needed. Also, we're doing this on a Mark 8 Golf R. The process is basically the same on the GTI. Even on Mark 7, it's going to be about the same. If you're doing power-fold mirrors, that's the perfect time to install dynamic turn signals in our mirrors because the overlap is like 97%. 100% with the glass on the aspherical mirrors, and then you just have 2 more screws and 1 connector to do in the mirror housing. The main reason that I'm doing this is because when doing power fold mirrors, I made a boo-boo and I cracked this mirror glass here on the passenger side. Ugh, sketchy. I broke it. Of course, I'll link up everything that you're gonna need to do this job, except the one thing I can't link, and that's making sure you're careful so you don't break the glass. Here's our mirror. We're only gonna be doing the passenger side. Driver side is exactly the same, but you're flipped around the other way. First thing I like to do is tape up around where the mirror glass is. That way, if the glass accidentally digs into the plastic, you're not marring it up. I actually found that if you activate the power mirror and push the mirror all the way facing down, that gives you a good amount of room to get the glass out. You also want to make sure you don't accidentally tape the mirror to the housing. Once you have it well taped, you're going to want to kind of go in the center at the top. A trim tool with a curve like this works pretty well. There's actually a special tool that you're supposed to use. Surprising. But this works pretty good too. And the important thing is don't twist this. You just want to kind of pry. The further in you can get behind the glass, the better off you'll do. Mine's kind of weak because I broke it already. The first time, if your car's brand new, this comes off, it's not going to come off that easy. Mine came off pretty easy because I've had it off once, but you'll have to struggle. Now also, there's 2 wires connected right here. One of mine came out while I was prying. These are for the mirror heaters. The red and black wire was closer to the car. The other one, which is blue and black, was on the outside. I actually don't think it really matters because it's just a heater element inside of here. But you can really see just how bad I broke that mirror. Also, these make really good like inspection mirrors and stuff, so don't throw it away. Now that our glass is off, we need to pay attention to 2 tabs that hold the mirror cap on. There's one right here by where the wires come out, and then right here. On this car, because it has silver mirror caps, it's really easy to see the silver tab that's holding the cap on. You kind of have to do 2 things. You have to pry the silver tab down a little bit, and it's really best to just gently push the black tab back. If you just cram down on this tab, this silver tab for the mirror cap, because that is the mirror cap, you're going to break it. Now, if you break it, it'll probably be okay, like it'll probably hold on, but our goal is to not break it. I've already broken one thing on this car. We don't need to break more. What I have found is that if you push down a little bit with your hand here on the cap, that will allow you to push that a little bit easier. Once you have that, gently push forward. Like, here's my hand. I'm just gently pushing forward. It's moving a couple millimeters. Basically think forward pressure, and that'll help this tab come off a little bit easier. Now, you don't want to just launch this off the car. You have your blind spot monitor warning light right here, so you need to be mindful of that. So we'll just kind of go back and down, pushing away. Don't force anybody. Just like that. And we'll kind of rock our mirror cap off, and ta-da! Now we do have to disconnect this blue connector. That's real easy. Just goes like that. These are the 2 tabs that you press down on. So see how small and thin they are? You want to be extra careful of these guys right here. Now we're looking at our mirror assembly from the top down. And from here, it's pretty straightforward. We have 1 connector that we need to unplug, like that. Now there's 2 T10 torque screws that you're going to need to remove. One right here, close to the outside, and one right here. There is also 1 clip at the very bottom. You can see it right there. That tab or that clip is located right here, kind of right in the middle. Now, the best way I've found to remove that clip is gently push this side of the light towards the housing. And then, like I'm saying gently, you really got to be careful because it can just break right off. And then try and kind of rotate it so that the clip comes away from the tab that holds it in just a little bit. Take your trim tool from the outside in and gently pry it out. Once you have it pried out, lift up a little, still being real careful. You can even take your finger on this side and push the light a little bit, and then pull it away. Now the dynamic one has a bit more of a smoked look to it as compared to the factory one, which is sort of clear. If you're feeling like you want to, you can always plug it in and check it and see how it works. But what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and install it, being very careful. There is that tab, so you kind of need to roll it into place like that. Be extra mindful of this light up here. It should just kind of fall into place. Make sure your tab down in the center clips in. Go ahead and get her plugged in. Then, if you're like me, you gotta test it. Oh yeah. Before you put your mirror cap on, make sure you put in your 2 T10 Torx screws. Remember, you're going into plastic, so it doesn't need to be super tight. I think 0.1 ugga-duggas ought to do it. Now it is time to put our mirror cap back on. Now, keep in mind there are tabs in addition to the clips that need to go in place. These tabs right here hook into the light. So really, the best practice is to kind of roll it into place like that, starting with this corner here on the inside and rolling it into place. But before we roll that into place, let's plug it in so we're not sad that it's not plugged in. Also, make sure you don't have any tape that's gonna get caught between this front housing and the cap. I find that getting down with it at kind of at eye level is nice. Once you get that mirror cap pretty close, you'll see our 2 silver tabs that we pushed down when we removed it. We're just gonna very gently ease that into place. You may need to woggle it a little bit side to side, and if you need to, grab your trim tool and pop that clip right into place. Outer one is in, and we'll do the inner one just like that. Now, your mirror cap is properly secured. Also, if I didn't mention it, make sure your heated mirror wires are out so that you don't have to take that back off. Now, before you put your mirror glass in, you want to bring your mirror up to what's roughly a straight-on position. Make sure you plug in your heater connectors. This is probably one of the trickier parts, is getting your hand back there with enough room to plug it in. Then what you want to do is you want to kind of center the mirror like that. And then what I do is I generally just gently press it from roughly the middle, because that's where there's the most structure. And you're done. Well, I guess you got to take your tape off. And then don't be a savage and clean that mirror glass. You can see here on the back of this old mirror, there's clips that clip around that centerpiece that was behind here. Now, if you look, you see this dashed line right here. This outer part is the aspherical part. So what it does is it allows you to see out just a little bit more. And this car's got all kinds of blind spots and stuff, so you may not need it, but kind of a cool little touch. And of course, we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. All right, there we go, we did it. We have our dynamic turn signals in our mirror housings, as well as our aspherical mirrors on both the driver and the passenger side. Overall, a really easy mod, 20 or so minutes per side, and you have this cool feature. Next, we got to figure out how we can make our headlights and our taillights do it to match. I'll put links to all the stuff that you need to do this down in the description, and big thanks to our man Paul over at Shop DAP for making sure we have cool stuff like this to put on our cars. Here's a little sneak peek of what's coming soon. With that, I'm out. Have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you again next time. Bye. So dynamic.